Live. What's up, everybody? Harrican BX here. Sure you didn't expect to see me, did you? Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Mold. I'm actually broadcasting live right here from my university. And unfortunately, as opposed to what the title says, I have to be a grown-up in this place, a full-on grown. Ooh, somebody's dogs are riled up.
Damn.
Somebody breaking into JD's joint.
They let dogs in university.
They heard the TV upstairs.
Look, sounded like they were about to pounce on some fucking raw meat, bro. You sure nobody's trying to break into the crib?
No, we're good. Ain't nobody trying to break in here. They got a house full of toys. What the fuck are we gonna do with that shit?
eBay.
Well, true.
Yo, that'll be some shit, right? Somebody will come in is expecting like fucking valuables and shit. They see a bunch of toys, they'd probably just leave your shit alone, not knowing, how many thousands and thousands of dollars that shit is worth.
Yeah, but they can't find the boxes to it. They're like, fuck it, I can't get a full dollar.
Well, they wouldn't have time to grab all that stuff anyway.
Too much shit. Their fucking cops will be there fucking before they grab a tote.
Well,
how much you got?
What people don't realize.
Pull, delete, torso.
Oh, you fucking get them to death with a Nerf gun? Is that what happened?
No.
Super soaker?
Those lifesavers don't
12
work.
gauge shells. 12 gauge shells.
Dude, what people don't realize is, JD, I was looking at your floor in your living room, and I know that there's a trap door there. And I don't know which painting you have to which picture you tilt to fucking let it go, but I know it's there.
Wouldn't that be some shit?
Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome.
I'll knock before entering, bro. Seriously.
Please do.
Seriously. Yes, I will.
You never know when people aren't wearing pants. They always knock before you enter a room.
All right. Well, welcome to episode 85, I believe. So I can't be here the whole episode, but glad to be here for the intros with you guys. I'm Harrican BX, or Schoolboy BX for tonight. Let's say what's up to the rest of the crew. Energon Addict. What's up, Pop?
Yo, what's good? Happy Tuesday, right? It feels like Tuesday, but it's not. But I can't explain it.
Yeah,
it's like
Monday.
No.
Like
Please do.
Mon Fry Saturday.
Usually Tuesday, I'm a little more laid back, but today was rough at work because basically you're catching up from the long weekend. And in my business, the flights and the boats, they don't stop. So it was double the flights and the boats today. A lot of work. Yeah. But the weekend was good. I had a pretty good weekend. I can't front.
Nice, man. Nice. It was a long one. And you're right, dude. Like all today, I was on Monday mode at work. Same shit. Because, first day of the week, I was like Monday. I was thinking it was Monday all day. And they're like, no, it's Tuesday. They're like, don't push us back. And I'm like, you're right. But it just fucking feels like a Monday to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. You had a good weekend. I had a great weekend as well. It was pretty excellent. Brian Brink. What's up, dude?
Hey, yeah, my days are messed up too. Turns out I didn't podcast on a Monday. I didn't work on a Monday. It was crazy. I didn't have to pull Transformers news on Sunday. Yeah. It was a nice day, nice weekend off. I was total labor free. Just sit back and, it's kind of nice watching ETR. I was like, I kind of miss watching the show. It's a good show. Yeah, but it was good. I went up to Maine, saw some family there. My nephew's 1 year old, and he's pretty cool. I mean, for what it's worth. I mean, he's just a kid. He can't really do much. But he's really close to taking his first steps. So I was really kind of hoping we'd see that this weekend. But not so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was great seeing my family. And sorry, Dom, no videos. I guess my brother doesn't do videos on Labor Day weekend. He takes
obviously,
takes that holiday off.
Why would he work on Labor Day?
Yeah, man. So it was really good. I got to play some golf. I got bit by some bugs. I actually went to the doctor because these bug bites are the worst things I've had since I can remember.
Did you play all 18, Brian?
No, we just did 9. Just shot 9.
Okay.
Yeah. And I suck at golf. I lost. I mean, this is my 5th or 6th time playing, and I lost more balls than any of the other times. So,
Well, just,
but I did.
just leave it to the leave it to the alcohol. It's the alcohol's fault.
I did get a bogey once, a legit bogey. I was pretty excited about that.
Did you guys drink take a shot before every hole?
Nah,
that's tradition.
It was in the morning. It was in the morning, so we didn't do that.
Hey, listen, it's 5 o'clock somewhere,
Yeah.
That's right, man.
Nice. So that sounds cool. I suck at golf also. It's been years since I played, so I'm sure you did better than me or better than I would. So, all right, Big Dom, what's up, dude?
Good. My weekend was great. I enjoyed it very much. I took off last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We went up to a lake in North Jersey, in Verona, and with the family, and just enjoyed canoeing, archery, all that good shit. We just basically the lake was pretty much had everything: canoes, body surfing boards, whatever the hell they call those things, and
Boogie board.
kayaks. Well, the ones that you stand up on and you row. I tried it. I got halfway. I got halfway into the lake and I fell off. And
I was
that was
paid
the
to
end of
see
that.
that.
Oh, dude, it was funny, dude.
You float in the water?
Yeah, JD, I float in the water. You fuck, just like a turd. Okay, you fuck.
That sounds dope, though. That's almost
analogy.
it's almost like a little mini vacation if you took those days off into the weekend. So that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Saturday we just ended up going to a family friends in Queens. I was in your area, Jose.
Oh, sweet. Not too far.
Not too far. It was right between. I think it was exit. I think it was exit 17, 18 on the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Something around there.
So you were by me.
I was by you too.
Didn't say shit.
He was being incognito.
I'm telling you.
Done hanging out with you.
We just fill the void for his real friends.
Mm-hmm.
At least you're filling it, JD. At least you're filling it. That's just remember that.
Well, speaking of filling, JD, how are you, dude?
I'm good. Went back to work today like everybody else, but yesterday that's usually my day off anyway. But yeah, we spent from Thursday till Sunday, we spent all that time in Rhode Island with the lovely Rossi family. I'm out there all weekend. Yeah. Nice.
Hey, JD, by chance, when did you leave on Sunday?
It was, oh boy, like 4 in the afternoon.
Really? Yeah. I left Maine around 4, so yeah, I probably wouldn't have caught up to you. I was like, I wonder if I'll see them on the road.
Well, we didn't get home. It was like 10:30, 11 till we got home.
Oh, I didn't go home till 11. Yeah.
We got a little sidetracked. There was some traffic, once we started getting close to the the Connecticut, New York border, and we were hitting some traffic, so we kind of took a little detour after we'd gotten in and out of a couple spots where it was stop and go, and got a little sidetracked, and then grabbed a bite to eat at a diner, and got back on the road. But yeah, the whole weekend was pretty awesome. It was nice and relaxing, hanging out with Gavin and Paul and his wife. Shout out to them for putting us up and inviting us out, all that good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I saw the pics that you guys posted in the Realm Facebook earlier. It looked like a great weekend. I mean, that's hookups like that and just doing things like that outside of a normal convention setting, as we usually say. Like doing shit like that is awesome. It's what the Realm is all about.
Yeah. So we left in the middle of the night it was probably like midnight or so. We left on Thursday and got there kind of early in the morning. And then, man, they got their property is it's so awesome because they just moved and all that stuff. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but it's like 10, 15 minutes from civilization. Because Rhode Island isn't all that big either. But it's so quiet. There's no glow from any city or anything in the background. It's black. Nighttime, it is black. Campfires, just relaxing, and good food. And Saturday he took us out to a couple game stops, and we hit a place called the Toy Vault, which was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Found some pretty cool stuff there. But yeah,
Nice.
and there he is.
There goes Paul in the chat. What's up, Paul?
Hello, Paul.
Hi, mister.
That's awesome, dude. Well, thanks for sharing. You know what I'm saying? Glad everybody looked like they had a good weekend. No G Money tonight, but don't you guys worry, because we got a very, very special guest from Friday nights here on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel, the host of MPSB Theater, Masterpiece Shit Piece himself, Nick Brammer. Welcome to Breaking the Mold, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys. I
Welcome.
appreciate being here.
Welcome, Nick.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I see you
Yeah,
have glasses. Where's your shoes? You have shoes?
I don't have my shoes right now.
All your shoes.
All my shoes and glasses, just so I have them. My hands all numb and stingy from the Labor Day fireworks. I could see a pinky, but I'm not sure about anything else. Yeah, man, I've been doing good. I just chilled. My kid is off school till Wednesday because they thought the hurricane was going to come through here. So they canceled school in like all the counties around here. So
Wow.
I've just been chilling out with him, playing some Madden, chilling.
Wow, you guys close school even if there's a hurricane like on the radar. Like, damn.
Yeah, because they were afraid that it was going to come a lot more inward, and with it stalled where it's at, they don't know what the hell is going to be going on.
So they might as well
So-
cancel it for the rest of the like week, and
Week,
2 weeks
yeah.
maybe. You never know. what's
We'll
gonna
see. And if they do, I'm going to try and not kill my kid during that time.
Mm.
Yep. He was stuck with him for a couple of extra days, right? Like I know some parents, like they try to say, you know, like I'm gonna miss my kid, but you know they're dying for that fucking first day of school so they could just ship them out and get some me time, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny, man. It's funny. And then of course, you know, you're just seeing it all over Facebook. Today was the day, so that's what you're just seeing all day on your feed is smiling faces, first day of school, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know what that's about now too. So well, thanks for hanging tonight, brother.
Again,
Awesome.
thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No doubt, no doubt. I had a great weekend myself. Busy week. Last week, it was the first week of school for me. Nice introduction to everything I got going. And then as soon as the work week was over, I hopped on a bus to head down to Virginia. Usually try to use the Labor Day weekend as sort of like a, you know, last chance to see my family down there before the major holidays come up. Because sometimes I'm able to go down for Thanksgiving or Christmas, but not all the time, depending on the work schedule and whatnot. So it was nice to see them. A nice, cool weekend to get away real quick, and got back yesterday, just rested, you know, because the grind, you know, starting again today, and it's going to be a long one. So I'm going to have a great show for you guys tonight. I can't be here for the whole show. I actually got to get my ass to math class right now. But thanks for having me for these few minutes, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. All right?
Peace.
Later.
Jay, man.
Take care, Jose.
Bye,
Peace.
mister.
Go do your addition.
Make sure
Cool,
you
man.
have one.
And contractions.
Don't forget to carry the one.
All right, so
Oh,
he's
well, that's
gone. So let's go on with the show. So we're gonna jump into a topic JD is gonna take us into. So Mr. JD,
Oh, I am?
ready?
Oh, my goodness.
You better have it ready.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've had this conversation with other people, and it was something that came up over the weekend, and you know, sometimes I feel like people, so people outside of our realm, so to speak, don't really understand, you know, why we do what we do, or you know what the allure is and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. But you know, like I've been in this situation myself where, you know, it might be a spouse that doesn't accept it. You know, just why would you know, why is it such a problem that, that we collect. We like to collect. I'm sorry, I'm horrible at this.
You're not.
So basically the stigma of like real life versus collecting. Why is I'm trying to find what I put in the chat.
I got you,
Why
bro.
you
Got it?
somewhere.
All right. This is what you said. This is what
Yeah.
JD said. Why is collecting a kids industry? This industry is run by adults. What adult is buying the major lines for kids? Meaning the majority of these lines are collected by adults, not kids. In some cases, the household is sharing them, but only because the adult knows what the line actually is. Is that right, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, why do we collect what, basically it's not for children, right?
Yeah, so the major lines that are collected, the kids don't know what they are. You know what I mean? The toy companies aim them towards kids, but the adults are the ones that are actually buying them for themselves because oh my god, I remember that. Whether it's like a revamped, like Siege, you know what I mean, or whatever. But these products are, I mean, they're designed by adults, they're sold by adults, and the adults are the ones that are buying. So why is it such a problem in other communities or by other people? Well, like, why is it frowned upon? You know what I mean?
So, Jay, I'll start off by I have something real life that basically came into my life today, actually. So I have a coworker who we grew up together. So I know him since he's 8. So we have a lot of mutual friends. One of our mutual friends is, a guy that was in my wedding party. And we were close until recently. I would say probably a good 2 years now. We kind of sidetracked a little bit. Not really anything in particular, but he's quick to judge me on what I do now with my spare time. So he's the type of dude that reaches out to me like the day before something and be like, "What are you doing tomorrow? Come by. I'm having people over for drinks and barbecue, whatever. Oh, I have plans. I'm going away for the weekend, whether it be NJCC, whatever the case may be." And I haven't turned them down often, but the invites are so far in between that it seems that way to him, So, oh, you're doing your toy thing,
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of explained to him, what we do, that it's not like we're just hanging around playing with toys, even though sometimes we are, but a lot, it has a lot more to do with the aspect of actually collecting the item and just hanging out. Because most of the time we're together, we hang out. It's not, we're not really engulfed in the toys. We're more engulfed within, each other and whatever else is going on in our lives. We talk about our wives, our work, anything that brings conversation up. We talk about everything and everything under the sun, right? Am I correct when I say that when we're together, it just opens other doors for anything? There's been times where me and Dom haven't spoken in 2 weeks. The person we talk about isn't always a toy.
Right.
It sometimes is something else. It's something real life. It's
the toys just open the doors.
I'm looking for a house, or I'm leasing a new car, or I got into this fight with my wife over this crap. And though the toys brought us together, it's not the only thing we do together.
Right.
So anyway, I've told my friend this, and he tries to come into terms with it, but he just sees it as that I'm a big child. So I think in the back of his mind, I've kind of taken the toys over hanging out with him. But when we hang out, we don't do nothing. He gets fucked up over a few drinks and then winds up passing out by 8:30 at night. Or he starts talking shit about the next person, or it's always something. It's never just a good time. So sometimes I'm saying no just because I don't want to fucking be around them. It's not just that, I want to be around toy friends, essentially. So he made a comment this weekend, and he said something like, "Oh, is Davey still doing that toy thing? He should be spending money on other things." So I was like, "Who the fuck is he to tell me what to spend my money on?"
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, I'm not the type to sit back and just let it go by. So I text him. I was like, "Dude, you have my number. You want to see how I'm doing? Hit me up." And yeah, I'm still collecting toys. So he hits me back, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Oh, you didn't get drunk and talk to so and so this weekend?" "Oh yeah, but I was just joshing around." Basically, is what he came into terms with. The truth of the matter is, he's miserable with his life. He does nothing. He goes nowhere and talks to no one. And yeah, he might not have spent his money on a bunch of detox and fucking hot toys, but he bought a jet ski, and that jet ski only lasted him for how long? That jet ski you can only use for how many months of the year? And you have to have other friends with jet skis to enjoy them, right?
Yeah.
I go, "Hey, how you douchey friends on their jet skis?" You know what I mean? I don't say any of that to him, but I don't know. It's viewed differently by people who just they aren't open to it. He had a different life. He probably gave up his toys a lot younger than I did, and though he remembers this stuff, he doesn't hold any value to it. You know what I mean? Doesn't care about it. So I can't force it on him either. So the only thing I can do is tell him that it makes me happy, and people should just accept that.
Yeah, like I think I think a big part of it is people just think that you're collecting toys. They don't understand that there's a whole community behind you that you're interacting with, and that you're making real life friends. And not only that, it's just like if I want to spend my money on something, stay out of my pocket.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I can see where the stigma comes from though, because I mean, even if they weren't toys, they are representing brands from childhood, you know?
Mhm.
So maybe that's why they might see it as childish. Um, but Dave, yeah, it's interesting how you talked about your old friend, having those kind of criticisms, I guess, of your hobby. One of the things I find, and it's grown quite a bit in the last couple of years since been participating heavily in the realm, is when I go to hang out with people who don't do this hobby, it's like I'm bored there. I'm like,
Yeah.
occasionally the conversation will turn, and we'll have a nice discussion or laugh about something, but it's funny, you don't have that you don't have that catalyst to get the conversation going, to spearhead it. It's like it's almost like they're the normies. It's like,
Yeah.
look at these people talking about normal things. So I got nothing to contribute here.
Normal's a cycle in your washing machine. I've said that before.
Yeah, but the other thing too is like a few people know about my hobby outside this circle here, and but I mean my family kind of knows what I'm into, but they don't really quite understand it, and or have a full knowledge of it. So I mean they ask me here and there, and I just tell them I'm having a great time, and I'm going here this weekend, there next weekend, and they ask me what I do there, and I tell them basically I just hang out and I look at toys, for the most part. Um, they don't really know much about my contributions here to the community because, yeah, I got to keep your world separate, kind of thing. But man, where was I going with that? I don't know. But it's funny. It's kind of hard though to when you're hanging out with people who aren't in the, I think it's because we've become so close. Like all these people in the chat that I know, all the people here on the panel that I know. And it's like you guys take up a lot of time, and it's not a bad thing, but I really don't have a lot of time for the other people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I spend some time catching up with them and stuff like that, and and for a lot of folks, I am kind of interested in what's going on in their life, but in some of the other ones, I mean, they're just kind of boring, like you said, Dave. I mean, these some people just they got nothing that brings them excitement, so therefore their conversations don't have any excitement. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
How about? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, and we keep coming back to toys, but like when we're together, I mean, that's the last thing we're talking about.
I know.
yeah, most of the times. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually struggle to come up with a toy related topic every week.
Yeah.
'Cause-
It's true.
oh man.
It's funny how much though we revert back to talking about toys in real life. You know, because it's almost like we do feel that stigmatism hitting us in the back most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So like when sometimes I'm at work and I look for someone, like I have this one guy at my job who he actually writes. He writes like fiction.
Mhm.
So we talk about like superhero shit all the time. Like he's really into the MCU and all that stuff. And he's not into the toy aspect, but he respects it because he knows, you know, he knows the fiction. He doesn't collect anything, but he reads the same fiction, so we could have a conversation about things. As opposed to like my boss, who I've spoken about numerous times, he's like a closet Star Wars head. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's Mr. Sport. All he does is talk about, hey, you see the Mets win today and fucking the Jets and blah 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 blah. But then, like on the low, he's like, "Did you see that new trailer for the Star Wars movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Oh, I can't wait." You know, it's like,
See, yeah, like that's one thing that I don't understand is like, why does it have to be hidden? You know, does it make you less of a man that you're not talking about your sports team? That you're not talking about your, you know, I just souped up my car, you know, whatever engines. I don't know this shit.
mhm.
But like, you know, does it make you less of a man that you're not interested in those things? I don't think so.
No.
Not at all. And JD, you know what I've gotten a lot? I'm sure some of you have gotten it. When they find out what you do, like, you know, your hobbies and stuff, they're like, "You don't look like the type. The fuck does the type
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah, what's that type?
Have you met my friends? Like, you know what I mean? Like when they see the picture that sometimes I show them of like when we do the international meetup,
Mhm.
you know, aka TFCon, and we look like a fucking football team. We don't look like,
No.
you know what I mean? We don't look like what people might presume. People like this look, you know,
Like
nerds.
Ah. Yeah, for sure.
But
I'm just trying to think. You know, it's funny. When I did talk to my mom about what I'm doing, she's really happy. She's glad I'm happy. But she always asks, she's like, "Are there any girls in there?" Because I'm still single. She's like, "Oh, I'm like, there's some." She's like, "Oh." I guess like she really wants me to just settle down and find a nice girl.
When you gonna find a nice nerd girl, Brian?
Oh, that's funny.
hey Dom, you there?
What's up? Yep.
Yeah, you there? Can you get off
Yep,
your
I'm
phone?
here.
All right,
No,
cool.
I'm
You come from a big athletic background, right?
yeah,
Most of your buddies are all fucking
yeah.
jocks and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know what you do?
Yep. They know what I do.
And for the most part, do you get shit for it or do they accept it?
Nah, they're cool with it. They're cool with it. They always try to get something out of me. Like one of my friends wants my Dinobots because he remembers, like, that's what he remembers, and he loved his Dinobots when he was a kid. So he always, and I sent him pictures of like the Fans Toys Dinobots, and he can't believe, like, you know, what they look like. And then when I tell him the price, he's like, "You got to be fucking kidding me! It's $200 for that thing." And that's kind of like, you know, that's kind of where they don't know. Like, you know, they don't know the extent of the hobby, or, you know, where, you know, when people say that we're collecting toys, they feel it's the toys that are on the shelves. Sometimes that's the case, but then there are other toys and, you know, and collectibles that, you know, you can get yourself into, which is more, I would say, adult oriented or targeted towards adults. So I just feel like, you know, they just don't understand, you know, when you say toys, they're just so, focused on what kids toys. So
It's no different than fantasy football.
no, yeah, it's not,
You know what
and
I
that's why I agree. Like I don't think everybody has their hobby, and I feel like my toy collecting is my hobby, and I'm happy that I do have a hobby, because if I didn't have a hobby, then my life would be boring. So
Technically, playing fantasy football is even nerdier than collecting toys.
yeah, like
'Cause
fantasy
it's like-
football. All my
It's
friends
like
play
it's
fantasy
like
football.
playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Like I've done it a couple times with them. They have a whole they do the draft. They sit down, get together. They do the whole draft. They have a trophy that's won and passed from championship to champion to champion every year. It's like it's a whole thing for them. So they like it. It's the trash talking that goes around every week when someone's playing somebody. So it's a whole thing, just like kind of what we do. So I just feel like it's a different poison, and at the end of the day, so
And a lot of times, like the interests, interconnect, because I mean, we just got done with the NPSP show doing our fantasy football draft on Sunday.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
exactly.
But at the same,
dibble dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I know people who collect toys, and I know they also work on their cars. And
Yeah.
do a bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah.
like I just feel like when it comes to the average Joe, who's when you go and they don't know anything about collecting toys or anything like that, their focus, or that when you say toys, they're just thinking like kids toys, and they're like,
It's
"Nah,
collecting
it's a little-
matchboxes.
it's a, yeah, it's a little bit more than that." And if it is just that, and you're just collecting toys that from the main lines, and you can find them at Walmarts and Targets and Toys R Us's when they were here, that's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. So
Hey, I got a question for your friends that play fantasy football. Like when they do all the shit talking and they start ragging on each other's quarterbacks, do any of them like call up an admin and cry to them
oh
about
yeah,
getting their feelings hurt?
yeah. Who,
Just
that
curious.
trade? Why did you allow that trade? What the fuck are you thinking?
Dom,
All that stuff. Yeah, all that. Yeah, yes, Brian. Yes, that happens. I missed the joke. Sorry,
perfect.
but
yes.
I feel sad for some people that just don't get it. That means that what if you have any type of hobby, like I feel like you would understand if somebody said, "Yeah, I collect toys. That's my hobby." Then if anyone's collecting or doing a hobby, they would kind of understand where you're coming from. So, in a person that doesn't understand, or just I would ask them, then like, what do you do on your spare time? And if they say nothing, then I'm just feel that I'm privileged at the fact that I do have a hobby. I don't have I can spend some extra time, my extra time, and do something that I love and I enjoy. So, and some people that are out there that might not have that, and they focus on work and just working all day, and the whole thing is work, and I feel sad for those people.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
I like it. So in my industry, this kind of sidetracks us, but like in my industry, there are lots of people, and they live, breathe shit, fucking artwork for the industry, for tattooing. And a lot of times I see those people, they end up having nervous breakdowns or heart attacks or just severe anxiety, and I've been seeing a lot of those posts, like in the past month from, some well-known artists and some not so well-known artists, and they end up having health problems because it's all they do.
I'm in the corporate life, so there's tons of guys that I know that just focus on their job, and yeah, they'll take vacations with their family, or and I'm if they're not finding an alternative source of just having fun outside of work and creating that hobby for yourself, whether it's hunting or whether it's racing cars, or whether it's doing something that doesn't work doesn't make your life, or it's I think that makes you happier. They live longer, and you prosper. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's like it's just horrible that you just don't do that.
Might be just some of the simple things that, just enrich your life that much more.
Yeah, and
So-
some make their kids their hobby, and just focus on their kids and live through their kids, and I'm cool with that. Then say your hobby is your kids, that you take them out to football practice or to band camp or whatever the case may be. Do things that you never done as a kid, and you're living through them. That's great. That's also wonderful. And I can imagine people just focusing on their kids and making their kids a hobby, and just making sure that they're grow up to be great individuals and be better than they are. So that's also a great thing. But that's it. I'm not embarrassed of my hobby. I don't give two shits what other people think of what I do and how I do it. And that's kind of I've been doing it before I ever got into social media, and I'm going to be doing it once after social media, after I get off of social media. I'm always going to be doing it.
So, I mean, JD, I was looking at your question, and you asked about like why do people feel the need to hide what they're doing, and the thing is if they've got no one really to share it with, or no one, like if they know the person that they're talking to isn't going to show an interest or anything like that, perhaps. I mean, then why even mention it if they're gonna have to deal with if it's gonna make it less enjoyable for them to talk about it or something like that? Was that kind of what you were getting at?
I mean, it could be taken that way. I would say so more. So there's certain situations like, I hear some people say, hey, I don't usually let this be known to other people because I don't want them to think less of me. You know what I mean? It's kind of our situation that we have going on with the realm. We may or may not have people local to us that enjoy the same things that we do, and this is the place where it's okay for us to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? It's not kind of, oh, what a nerd, or it's little kid stuff, or
Yeah, I could see that. But it's funny. It's like we have like a whole nother outlet to talk about. Whereas, like, if someone comes up to me and talk about football, like I can do that. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, you're still doing the thing with the helmets and whatnot or whatever.
the balls.
Yeah,
You're still doing the thing with the balls.
it's funny. But there are people that do that, right? And it's I don't understand.
So I guess
Dave's
Dave's friend would be a good example. You know what I mean? He's like under his breath. You see that new Star Wars shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. You don't gotta hide it. I've like throughout my entire life, I've never hid the fact that like this is the stuff that I love.
Yeah.
And then
that's you, JD. Like that's what makes you, JD. That's like that type of attitude should be everybody. Like take anybody. Like that guy who's whispering under the table. Did you see the Star Wars trailer? He might feel that he does, that he has that persona that like, oh, I shouldn't be talking about Star Wars because that's a geek or whatever stuff. But like
he's not alone. He's not alone.
I'm sure he's not alone. But like but if he loves it, he should be proud of it. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of fans out there that love it as 10 times more than he does, and they're very proud of it.
So like there's a whole nother side to this too, is like, family members or like a spouse, I hear stories of people, I actually got all like the some of the NECA turtles that we actually got from a guy that his girlfriend was making him sell his collection.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But like and I, at one point, you know what I mean, one of my past relationships was kind of like that, where it was like, why do you have this stuff? I don't want this in my house. You know what I mean? And
Well, that's the
Why
thing.
can't
like,
you
I,
just
I'm
accept me for me?
Well, that's the thing. You're finding a spouse, and hopefully you find a spouse that you have common interests. Sometimes you don't have like all your interests are not common.
But then there's people out there that don't live past that. They're not going to take the opportunity to open the door beyond that. You know what I mean?
But-
They're going to stay in that situation.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm thinking that this guy who sold his collection for his girlfriend, he cares about his girlfriend and he loves her to the point where
He was
feels-
miserable, dude. He was so sad. He
Well,
was so sad.
I'm sure there's a point. I'm sure he was sad doing it, but he made a choice. There's nobody holding a gun to his head. That if he loved the girl so much to the point where he was going to sell his collection, and I'm granted he's going to be sad about it, but at the end of the day, it's his choice. He chose to sell it because he wanted to be with her. So that's a conscious choice. So that if nobody's forcing him to do it, he can just say no, I'm not doing it, and the girl walks out and says, "Fine, I'm not going to be with you." Great, I'll go find somebody else. But if he loves that girl so much to the point where he says, "You know what? I'll get rid of these toys because I'd rather be with you," and that's his choice that he's making, then I'm not going to wrong him for doing it. I'm not going to tell him oh, you're stupid for selling your toys. That's a choice that he made.
No, that's a choice that he made. I understand that.
Do you think she was jealous of the attention he was giving the toys and he wasn't giving them to her?
I mean, that
does happen, Brian.
That's a thing. That's definitely a thing.
How'd y'all get my home videos up on here?
Dude, you send that out to everybody. That's how we got it.
See,
It's on the cloud, Lick. We know. It's on the cloud.
so would you guys say there has to be a limit too? Because I'll give you guys an example. So obviously I'm engulfed in this hardcore, right? I have a room dedicated to toys. I have weekends throughout the year dedicated to hanging out with my boys with toys or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Boys with toys.
But what I'm saying is there's a limit too, because I also have to kind of split my time.
Yeah. That's the whole thing with marriage and everything.
Yeah, but dude, sometimes you get really wrapped up in this. For example, I just got that Voltron, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't fucking opened it yet.
Oh,
I had it for almost a week. Haven't opened it.
Open it.
I got
sure.
I got the Prime. Haven't opened it yet. I want to open it, but
now.
it's like Dust said something last night. He needs that time in his life. You know what I mean? To just be able, and it's even harder when you have a 2.5-year-old. And
it's only going to get harder for you,
Right.
Dave. That girl is going to grow, and she's going to demand more time from you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's already that she does. When I get home, I have to cook dinner. After dinner, I have to spend time with her. After that, I got to, if it's a Monday, I got to get ready to watch ETR because it's just a routine for me. You know what I mean? I watch ETR every Monday. I hang out in the chat for the first 40 minutes, and the rest of the time I spend that time in my room listening to the show and playing with my opportunities I get.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, obviously, I dedicate to hanging out with you guys. And then once in a while, I'll catch another show during the week. And that's when I get the shit. It's like Monday, Tuesday, you're doing this, right? Then when I say, oh, they asked me to be on Wednesday, or, what are you watching? Like on a Friday, I might be watching, Mastership Piece Theater. And she's like, what are you watching? And I was like, I'm watching a podcast. Oh, can we watch a movie? Sure. Give me a little while. Let me watch this for a little while. You know what I mean? There's always a give and take. So like with my wife, I'm very open. That's why I'm like, sometimes when we do these events, I try to make sure, hey, are we all attending? Are we all going? I need to know because I need to schedule in advance. Because if I can't, if I don't, then I can't just bring something on her. Because then that's when I get the shit. You know what I mean? But she's pretty open to like, oh, okay, you got something to do that weekend, fine. But you got to remember, when I leave for a weekend, I'm leaving all the parenting duties just to her alone. So her whole weekend, she doesn't get a break. Because with a 2.5-year-old, you don't get breaks.
No.
That kid, you need to be with them all day long unless they take a fucking nap. So I get it. You know, there's only so much that you can actually give to the hobby. And same thing with work. There'll be times I'm at work, and you guys know this. And sometimes I go into my little fucking rants, and I'm like, "What are we talking about tonight?" Blah, 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 blah. You know, we'll spend 2 hours on a fucking text, going back and forth between the guys, just talking shit. And before you know it, I didn't do any of my work, and then I got to get back to the grind.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're out of the chat for 20 minutes, and then you missed fucking 35 messages, and you're like, Dave, we already decided what we're gonna do. And I'm like, oh, all right, great. Right?
And like JD, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge regarding, you know, I'm with someone who doesn't share my hobby, doesn't you know, she understands what I'm doing. She knows that I love it a lot, and you know, but she doesn't share my hobby or the love for this type of hobby. So at the end of the day, I have to, you know, I can't consume myself with this hobby as much as I would love to when I was single. I love, you know, I didn't give a shit. I didn't have to worry about anybody else's feelings. I didn't have to worry about what you know, what that person wants to do. I did what I wanted to do, and if it was going to conventions every fucking weekend, I could do that. But now with a significant other that doesn't share my hobby or the love that I have to kind of compromise in regards to how my you know, how I handle my hobby. And you know, with regards to like conventions, like Dave said, I have to give her ample time ahead of time and saying, you know, I'm doing this convention. Is there anything going on, or is there anything planned for in the future? And she's like, no. I'm like, then I'm booking for this convention, and then she has ample time to try to find, you know, plans to do that weekend and meet with her friends. So it's not spur of the moment, because sometimes these days you can't do spur of the moment with a lot of people because your friends might have kids and stuff like that. And, you know, me just saying I'm going to go on a convention and tell her that Friday, you know, and I'm going to go to the convention weekend, that's going to be a fight. You know, it's going to be like, you know, you fucking kidding me? You know, do you care? You know, and that's kind of like, you know, that's where that compromise has to work. And with regards to that house, like, you know I can't put my toys all over this fucking house. I would love to, but I can't, because she's living in the same space as I am, and she doesn't share that love for having a fucking, you know, 2-foot fucking, you know, Unicron in the kitchen. Like, you know, I can't do that. You know, I would love to do it, but I can't. So at the end of the day, you know, like Dave, I got to find a space in my house that I can make mine, and that's my space for my collection. And that's the compromising that you kind of do.
I'm kind of in a different situation than most of you guys are, because I'm a stay-at-home dad. So Kate brings in all the money. Mm-hmm. So, like, at first,
I was hoping you'd go here.
Yeah. So at first, like, when we first got together, she didn't really seem to understand why I collected the things that I collect. And then I think one Christmas she got me some figure that I had been wanting forever, and she just saw like the joy that I had in opening that package, fucking around with that thing for just, you know, an hour and not opening anything else. And so like that's when it started to click for her. And she's like, she's interested enough to be conversational with me in my interests, and I try to do the same for her.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, there's a difference, you know, like there's accepting it, and then there's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, why can't
that's anything.
If you're gonna be with someone, why can't they? It's been part of you, and they, you know, in some cases it's not accepted. So I'm going to use David as an example. His wife understands the fact that he loves this stuff, and she said, hey, you know, the baby's come and we're here and things are starting to kind of settle down. Here's the space. Why don't you utilize it rather than keeping your totes there? You know what I mean?
Right. And she helped with even paying for it.
Yeah.
You know, getting the work done that had to be done. She helped with that. It wasn't just me.
Hell, my wife put my detox together for me
Yeah.
because she doesn't trust me to put shit like that together, man.
You know, but you know that proposes a question, right? Now, what about the guy who, let's just call him Joe. His name's Joe. He's 30 years old,
Joe Mama.
and he's finally making money at his job, and he never collected anything in his life. He bumps into JD at the local toy store, has a conversation. JD goes, "You like this? Wait till you see this. Let me show you something."
Yeah, and he gets into collecting.
Gets into collecting.
Mhm.
He's been engaged for 2 years. He's getting married next year. And all of a sudden he goes home and he comes home with a bunch of toys. And then, the wife, the fiance says, "Oh, wow, what do you got there?" "Oh, I got some toys." "Well, since when are you into toys?" "Well, I was always into toys. I just kind of left it alone while I was in college and while I was working on my career. And now I found this stuff. So now I think I'm going to start collecting it." And then she goes, "Okay, well, how much does that cost?" We're saving for a wedding, right?
Mind your business. Don't you worry about the wedding.
Right.
It's all $40.
It's easy for you to say, but that kid or that Joe might be like, "Shit, what do I do? They bring me joy."
Exactly.
But so does she. You know what I'm
Yeah. But
So
that's the thing.
in
That's the
that
thing. When you
case-
introduce something new to a relationship,
saying?
like Joe has done to his fiance or now future wife, even if it was a wife and he's been married for 5 years, and now all of a sudden he starts collecting toys. If you're introducing something new into that relationship that you haven't enough done during the time she knew you, it's gonna require some certain, communication to her to say that you enjoy doing this, and then there's going to be certain, lines drawn that say, okay, if you're going to be doing this, this is what I want. We make sure we don't spend this much on this. So finances are going to be talked about, space is going to be talked about, and time is going to be talked about. So if you communicate with that significant other to the point where you're touching those 3 points and making sure that you're listening to her in regards to those requirements, then it should be okay. And if she loves you, then she'll at least accept you the fact that this stuff makes you happy. I want you to be happy. So at the end of the day, I'm okay with it, but you better not, this other stuff, your finances, time, and space better not be over-consuming in this stuff to the point where now you ignore me, now you ignore the kids, now you're emptying out the bank accounts and putting us into debt. So things like that need to be discussed, because those are the things that they're going to be concerned about.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I've got caught out there, not so much in like emptying out the bank account or taking anything out of, my kid's mouth or anything like that. But, we haven't been on vacation in 2 years. Right. And usually I'm the one that comes up with the money for the vacation. So the last one we went on, I took her to Jamaica. Right. And I feel like, I shouldn't be paying for, she should be paying for the next one. You know what I mean? But anyway, besides the point, I've spent a lot of money on toys in the past 2 years. Getting into the Hot Toys game, I definitely spent at least $3 or $4 into that shit in the past 2 years. So that's a vacation right there.
Yep.
And I could easily go and say, you know what, I could have went on vacation, but at the same token, that vacation comes and goes. It's a week. It's a week of enjoyment. I'm getting constant enjoyment out of all this stuff.
But that's the thing, Dave. That's the thing, that your significant other might think that vacation is puts more value. Yeah, that the same value you put on your collection or a toy that you're getting, or a convention that you're going to. So it's through their eyes, a convention or a concert or going to the beach is more important to them. So not doing that stuff tends to make them feel, oh, I'm not important. You just want to focus on your thing and you don't care about me. So that's kind of the things that you're going to get into. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to just
Oh.
look at Deluxe's comment. I communicate with my pen pal being strong.
Yeah,
watch
see how that long that
Dude,
works.
you were getting shit on. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm.
Your life.
So, something interesting did happen with my hobbies. Like when I got into starting to paint customs and do dioramas and stuff, I set up my whole big table and stuff, and like half of the table was empty. And my wife was like, I like to paint. And I was like, well, honey, set up, do that. So like that's like something like it's almost like parallel play. You know what I'm saying? They talk about that for kids. So like I'll be doing customs or dioramas and shit, and she's on the other end of the table fucking painting her paintings.
Yeah, it's an indirect. It's taking two hobbies and finding a common ground, an indirect common ground to where you can enjoy each other's,
All at the
both
same
hobbies.
table.
Yeah.
At the same
Imagine that.
table. But yeah, like it's it's not the same. It's not the same thing, but we're also spending time together.
I take my wife comes on toy hunts with me. I know she doesn't enjoy it as much as I do, but she's there with me. We communicate, we talk about things during the day when we're doing it, and we spend great times. I enjoy those times with her, not just necessarily because I'm walking into a store and trying to find something that I want, but like also being with her and just talking with her, and finding seeing what's going on, in her life, and at the end of the day, I enjoy that with her.
Yeah.
But like I know she's there for me. She'd rather be at the beach or at a concert or somewhere else doing spending her time, and rather than doing that stuff, because I know she's there, and she knows that I love doing it. So at the end of the day, she supports me in that. And that's kind of how I recognize that. And then I, support her on her things that she likes to do, going into concerts, going on vacations, and, making those times and valuing those times with her, and making sure that she's getting the enjoyment like I am when I'm going toy hunting or going to a convention or buying a toy and doing my collection. So believe me, it's hard, but like you just have to, I would, granted, I would love to fall in love with someone, or fell in love with someone that had the same hobby as I, but it just didn't happen. Like I fell in love with a woman who I enjoyed, who I fell in love for certain reasons, and other things that she brought to the table, and that's what I fell in love with. Not and just because she doesn't like toys, I'm not saying to her that you're not worth. I don't like you. There's other things that I liked about her that I thought, this is the woman that I wanted to go with me for the rest of my life. So
we can't be all as lucky as somebody else on this podcast.
Exactly, but
No, I'm looking for that great ass meme.
Yeah, she had a great accent. That's it, exactly, Brian.
Can't find it.
That's on the Monday show.
Oh.
But JD, I want to bring that question to you. Like, you are on the opposite spectrum. Like, you have Chan, who obviously is into just about everything you're into, and if you're not into the same thing, at least she finds a way into it somehow, and vice versa, right? Because I know you both collect different things aside from the same things. But how was that like when you clicked and you found out that she was into everything you were into?
I don't know. It just kind of all fell into place because it was like, I know she needed to get out of the house, and I'm like, come toy shopping with me, So we started doing that together, and she seemed to have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. To let her open the door to, being okay with, other people knowing that she likes Star Wars and Transformers and everything else that she enjoys. You know what I mean? She kind of learned that it was okay to let that out. You know what I mean? I don't know. She says that I kind of, I helped her bring that to the surface.
Well, it makes sense because you guys helped me bring it to the surface too. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't necessarily in the closet, but I was just buying things from time to time,
Mhm.
you know, on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, who are these dudes? You know, we've heard the story before, but if it wasn't for the realm or you guys, you know what I mean, I might not be doing a podcast on a Tuesday talking about this, you know, this stuff, you know, and you guys opened a lot of doors for me in that sense.
It's okay. You know what I mean? Like people will accept you. You know, in most cases, people will accept you for who you are. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you, JD. I feel, you know, with your situation with you and Chan, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm jealous in a way that I wish I had someone like that in my life. But then when I look at what I have, if it wasn't for Tanya, I probably wouldn't see the world that you know, and go on those vacations that I go on, and you know, I wouldn't do that. I told her, like, straight up one time we were having conversations. I'm like, you know, I probably would took that money and spent it on toys, and you know, and not even think about it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, with her in my life, it broadens my, you know, my whole life to the point where I'm experiencing other things that I know in my heart I would love to do, and she opens that door for me, and
Yeah.
and I appreciate that from her, and I fight her tooth and nail about it. You know, I don't, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's something that I know she's more interested in me, because I'd rather put it in toys in my collection. But at the end of the day, I know if I didn't do those things, I wouldn't when I go to these trips and experience the world and see what I've seen, I'm like, you know, I appreciated it. I appreciate it a lot, and that's what she brings to the table. So
Right. You embraced her hobby.
exactly, and it's just, and it opens my life, and it makes, like, you know, granted, I'm not saying, you know, my life would be any better or worse. It's just different, and I'm happy that it is, and I would love to have someone who I can just, you know, collect toys with, and just embrace. But I'm sure I probably would be closed to certain things that I wouldn't do outside my life, and or what I would have with her, and you know, either way, you know, JD, I'd probably be happy, because if you're just with someone who you appreciate and you communicate with, and you love each other for who you are, you know, that's what that's what it is. That's what it's all about. So.
That's right. TFCon, I need you to go to Alaska because I want to see Alaska.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's so great about, like, I remember when I was at BotCon, like, I remember BotCon went all over the place. So it was really cool because you can go to places. Like, I remember when they went to Texas one year, and we went on early, and I went to go see where JFK got shot and shit. Like, you know, it was pretty cool. Like, you know, things like that were cool when conventions moved around. And, you know, unfortunately, that, like, you know, it doesn't happen often these days. And, you know, they're always in the same location. I hope I'm not saying TFCon, you know, please go around the world and, you know, take more money out of my pocket to go travel, you know, but, you know, I'm happy that you're nearby. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was definitely a plus in regards to BotCon and where all the locations were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And adding on to what you're saying, Tom, the first Chicago show was the first time I've been on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick, aren't you bringing your wife to the next?
Yeah, wife and little dude are coming.
Yeah, you see, like, she's coming. You know what I mean?
And granted, you're only going to Reston, but Reston, you know, Reston, like anything else, is beautiful. And at the end of the day, there's things to do, and it's not like the locations that you're going to; it's the company that you bring that makes everything so much fun. So
right, I think that's
you can. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say that's what we have here in this community, especially in the realm of collectors. Is we have that company, you know, that we keep. That's why not everybody's going to fit into this mold, so to speak.
But oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I remember, you know, sitting down, you know, on that patio at Reston, and like a bunch of us were talking, and we were like, damn, this is a place I really would have liked to bring my wife.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We knew, the wives would have a good time there with the Williams and Sonoma and all the little shops, the live music right outside the friggin' hotel. It's a cool little spot, man.
Yeah, it like has all those little things that they can pertain to anybody that you like, and you can just have a good time at that area.
Before we segue anywhere else, somebody else had something they wanted to say about this topic, so I'm just gonna show everybody.
What's up, guys? Now, this might sound a little harsh, but I don't let anybody dictate what I collect. I don't give a fuck what they think. I'm into Siege. I still buy retail. I post that in the group and let a motherfucker tell me what the fuck and why are you buying that. I don't care. I enjoy what I enjoy. I like what I like. And I think everybody else needs to sort of get into that mentality. Now, when it comes to a spouse or significant other or something, the married life is tough and you guys got to figure shit like that out. But nobody should be dictating what you collect. What's up, guys?
Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, that's it right there.
That's
I
a nice
didn't hear
painting
it.
he had in that room.
Yeah. I think that's
Nice
I think that was Seascape.
We could have just played that, and he would have answered the whole thing for us all. And I'm just
Yeah.
So, JD, you also brought something else up that kind of coincides with this, right? So, actually, we covered that, but the question is, enough is enough, right? So, when do you put a limit to your collecting hobby? You know what I mean? When do you actually take a step back to do like real things in life? You know what I'm saying? I'll give you guys an example. Right now, I'm my car, the car lease is up. I need a new car, right? So, in order for me to get a decent monthly payment, I got to put some money down. The way it's looking. So I had to kind of hold back on my purchases to kind of save a little guap up, so that way I can actually lease a new car. So, for example, Dom, you're going on vacation, right, in a few weeks.
Mhm.
So you kind of you couldn't be
Every-
buying statues left and right because
every year, and this is all different from person to person. Like every year, I know how much I make. I know how much I possibly can spend on toys. If I had it any other way, everything I made, I put it in toys. But the thing is that I know what it takes to run my household. I know, that I would have to. I'm going to take a vacation, so I have to save some money for that. And so certain things that I know that's going to happen in a year, I have to kind of budget for all that stuff. And it's challenging. Believe me, it's challenging, especially these days when this whole genre is getting so popular, and with all the movies that are coming out with with action figures, and Marvel putting out like Marvel Legends and like 5, 6, 7, 8 waves a year, and it just gets very expensive. Same thing happens with Hot Toys. Like, I know it's a little spread out, but Hot Toys keeps piling on toys and, releases after releases after releases, and you get show exclusives and con exclusives. And I'm just preaching to the choir, because you all know that all this shit happens and it just piles on, and you got to just kind of limit yourself in what you're going to do and what you're going to collect and what fits your budget. So, and have I met that limit yet? And have I, gotten to like, oh shit types of scenarios? Probably, but I not to a point where I could get myself out of them real quick. So I haven't felt the pain to the point where I have to, kind of say, what the hell did I get? What the hell did I do? So I kind of figure out ways to get out of it, and kind of, keep the money coming in and keep the money going out, kind of ways,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
my
like-
outflows are not higher than my inflows. So
So
it's hard.
I have a question for Nick, right? So Nick, you said before you're basically you're a stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? You do most of the household shit.
Mm-hmm.
Kate gives you, sometimes she gives you an allowance for your collection, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's not there. Am I
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
So like, how do you keep collecting without that extra money coming in?
Basically, if something's coming out and it's important enough for me to want it, I tell her as soon as it drops, I tell her, okay, this is when it's dropping. This is when we have to have the money by. So it's something that's prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Double Evil came out, for me, $200 on a toy is, pretty up there. So I had to tell her, I had to be like, look, this is coming out at this time. This is when it drops. I need the money here. So we need to set something aside. And that way, we're not eating ramen all the time, shit like that.
What's wrong with ramen?
But for me, basically, I buy very few Transformers during the year, and I just get like everybody talks about me sleeping in bed with the Transformers and shit. We
Oh, at TFCon.
yeah, but like that's my thing. Like at TFCon, that's where I make the bulk of my purchases at.
Because to you, that the method is that you save enough money. Like you're on a saving kind of, and then you blow your load at those conventions and say, this is how much I saved up. This is my wallet, and at this convention, all the toys that came out during the year, if I can get them, I get them there, and you just budget your savings to that point in time.
Yes, exactly.
It's exactly. It works. It works for you. So that's how a lot of there's no set way to do this. It's just that you got to find your way, and all the ways are going to be different, and not every way is going to be the same from one person to another. So
sometimes it just does. Sometimes it catches up on you though. Like
it does
with me. Like like I've amassed credit card bills in the thousands from collecting. Especially there was a time a few years back where I was out of work for a month. I decided to take a month off. I thought I could swing it just on whatever I had in my checking. Didn't last too long, before I started dabbling into my savings. And then I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to buy this. I'll just put it on my credit card. I'll buy that, put it on my credit card. Before you know it, I have $3,000 on my credit card,
Yeah.
I'm almost at that point at the moment, only because of all the shit that I pre-ordered, and it's all for some reason coming out the last few months. It's like $350 here, $200 here, $80 here. It adds up. I'll tell you guys some stuff that I do for extra money, and you'd almost be in shock. So, for one, I collect coins. So like pennies, dimes, nickels. I keep them in a jar. And I'm that guy who, once that jar is filled up, I go to the fucking supermarket and I cash out on it. I also have recently started collecting bottles in my garage because we go through 4 to 5 six packs of seltzer a week, a 24-pack of water a week, between us and the baby, because the baby, all she does is drink water. And I started saving bottles. Yeah, maybe I only have maybe $10 worth of bottles in the garage, but that's $10. That $10 is going to buy me lunch tomorrow, Yeah. And it's not that I'm destitute that I don't have the $10. It's just that why not? Why am I going to throw money away when I can keep it?
Yeah.
Why am I going to spend $10 a day on lunch when I could just come home for lunch or bring it with me?
It's funny that you say that, Dave, because it's the small things that tend to count sometimes. So it's like you're like with the bottles. Like I take alternate, like I don't go through toll roads in New Jersey. I try to find alternate routes to go to work because I don't want to pay the tolls. I don't want to pay, it's a couple bucks a day, but like that it adds up. And just to save myself 10 minutes a commuting time. I'd be like, you know what? I'll go down this. I'll go down an alternate route that doesn't have tolls, and I don't have to pay that $250 or that $150 for that toll. And at the end of the day, I save some money.
I'm seeing a big change because we've been cutting down on how much we eat out. Because if you're eating out all the time, man, that's a huge expense.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that Kate, you know, she got a new job, so she's only 5 minutes from the house now. So most of the time, she's coming home for lunch.
Mhm.
And with Cal's new school, we ain't paying for school lunch. They don't do school lunch there. You know, it's brown bag lunch.
Bring it.
So I mean, we're seeing some savings from that too. So I mean, it's all about finding like the places where you can cut down on your expenses and make everything work for your budget.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm feeling a crunch too. A lot of things dropping. Some big planets in the future potentially. And we've got TFCon coming, which is no easy
No,
drop in
yeah.
the bucket, right?
Mhm.
And
it's not.
and I'm gonna be traveling for the holidays this year too, so I need to make sure that I save up for that as well. And it always seems like by the end of the year, it's like, all right, Anime Export wants my money now, but Amy wants it when it drops, and it's like you got to start figuring out, or do I not buy it at all? And it seems like I can never go with that option. So I kind of juggle shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. This year is gonna be interesting. I don't know why I want a fleet of dire ruggers. That's not really something that I want. I just want to make sure one arrives and then figure out what happens with the rest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's funny. NJCC is coming up again, and I really don't have the time or anything to put on the table unless I'm like, that's it, screw it, it's all gone. Anything that's not complete, get rid of it. Kind of thing.
Just to get it like a little personal, like Brian, like on a personal level, like I don't get paid overtime for my job. Like I'm salary, so I can't.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do have ability to work overtime, and if that is your means to make a little more extra income to do or buy that toy that you're looking for, that's a great source of extra effort to get what you want, and I go do it. See, I don't have that means, like, but I do get bonuses for my job. I get a bonus every year. Granted, it's not a consistent bonus to where I get the same amount every year. It depends on performance and all that good stuff. But I do get a certain amount of money. So I use that to my advantage by, finding credit cards. So if I could get a credit card that has 0% APR, or there's a promotion running on my credit card, I call my credit cards all the time and say, hey, are you running a promotion? Are you running a promotion? And if they are running a promotion, I say I want that promotion, and I try to get cards that have 0% APR to the point where then I can put stuff on that card, pay a minimum payment of $100 or $200 a month, and then eventually, when my bonus does come in, I use that card as what I can buy, and then I make sure I don't go over my limit to the point where I know what's coming in my bonus, and I know I have to save 2,000 of it for this and $2,000 for that, and I'd be like, okay, then I know my limit, what I gotta put on the credit card, and keep it to when my bonus does come, and I'm not paying any interest because it's a 0 APR promotion that I'm in, and it's going to carry me through when I get my bonus, and I'll pay off that card, and then I go at it again. So that's kind of things that I do that help me out in regards to this, this craziness and peaks and valleys that we go through in toy collecting, because it's like you never know. And like 1 month you can have like all this shit that comes out. Granted, you start playing that game. Do I really need it? Do I drop this pre-order because it's available, and it's probably going to be available in another 3 or 4 months? So I play those games too, and I say, you know what? I'll drop this pre-order. I'll just wait. But some stuff I'm like, no, like that Voltron. No, I'm not. I need to buy it now because I know it's not going to come out. It's not going to be available 3 months, 6 months down the road. But reissues do happen. You do get lucky sometimes, and you can always leave it up to that. And if you walk in, there's been plenty of times where I walk into conventions and see things that are hard to find and for a great price, and I get lucky. And sometimes you just can leave it up to that, and finding a hard to find toy and walking into convention and seeing it for a good price, and you grab it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny
So-
you said, yeah, I refuse to pay late tax any longer. It's just like, you know what? Everything gets reissued. I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
Or somebody's gonna finally let it go for
Yeah.
what you might call a reasonable price.
We're
Exactly.
selling
So
fucking
it's
MP44 already. It just came out this week.
well, that's the thing. Like, it's up to you. Like I've dropped. Like I remember I was going to pick up the accessory pet set for Mark 50 for Hot Toys, and I'm like, this shit's going to be available 6 months down the road. I don't need to buy it now, and I dropped the pre-order because I don't need it. Like I have the Iron Man, but I would love all the accessories that they should have put it in the fucking original toy. But at the end of the day, I know it's still available. It looks like it's going to be available. I've seen reviews of it. It's not really cracked up to what it should be. And at the end of the day, so I'll let that fly. And if come 6 months I have a $200 bill lying around that I could pay for the accessory pack, maybe they'd be discounted in the future, and I get it for cheap. Who knows?
You got $200 bills in Jersey?
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
Your face is on it, Dave.
I bet. You look like this.
Wonder what they're worth.
JB,
Not
I got a
200.
question for you, right? So
Sure.
you are in basically, obviously the tattoo industry, but you're also in the realm of not knowing what your paycheck's going to look like because you go on appointments, right?
So I
you
don't
could have a busy week where you're booked up all week and you got a steady, bunch of money coming in, but then you can go into a week where you only have 1 or 2 appointments because it's just slow.
Yep.
Right. So how do you manage that?
I mean, times like that, I guess I'm living week to week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get overtime. I don't get a bonus. I only get paid for the time that I work. I mean, of course, the hourly rate is a lot higher than what most people get paid. You know what I mean? So, and then I get tip on top of that. I guess that can be counted as bonus. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
But yours is all like where you are, GD. You sometimes have to hustle. Like you have to put the work in and hustle and try to get people in. And it's like you can put the effort in to get that extra dough in your pocket to get. Say, hey,
I'd like to say that by now I'm at a comfortable spot where if like I have a slow week, I can find people to come in. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like this week coming back, like 2 of my appointments canceled, so I put the feelers out there. I already filled one of the days. I'm gonna get Chan in for one of the other days because it's been forever since I've had her and to get any work done, and I'd really love to start working more on her stuff, but
I bet.
easy there. Yeah, but if I guess it all depends on like what's going on throughout the week. You know what I mean? If sometimes I can make it busier, sometimes not. The holidays kind of suck because that's like everybody does schedule, and I'm like, look, make sure because Christmas and Thanksgiving and blah blah blah, and they're like, oh no, we're good. All right, if you're sure. And then a time comes around, and they're like, man, I know my appointment's tomorrow, but I can't make it. This holiday season's killing me. I'm like, I fucking told you. Now I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just got to try and make it up.
Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in a case like that, if they're not giving me like a day or two notice, yeah, you remember that deposit you put down? Guess what?
Yeah.
Not yours
You're
anymore.
not getting it yet.
Yeah, I've lost deposits on tattoos too because sometimes you just don't know what you want or you don't have the time to go or the money. Some people put $100 deposit, but they're looking for $1,000 piece. And they're like, you know what? I don't know what I want and I don't have the money to finish it. So
at that point, it's not really a good idea to make an appointment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until you figure out what you want, then you make the appointment.
Right.
But
Sometimes it's hard to get those appointments, right?
Exactly. Like you get an artist that, it takes 6 months before the next appointment opens up. So you're like, yeah, put me down in 6 months. Then the time comes and you're like, fuck, man, I just bought fucking a bunch of toys. I can't
Yeah,
fucking get a tattoo.
yeah.
well, I mean, chances are, when you do figure it out or you can afford it, it's still going to be there. You've already waited this long,
Hmm.
So I guess I need to move because that's the situation I need. I need a 6-month waiting period. That's ridiculous.
Come to
It's-
Florida.
It's usually like a month here,
No.
but our shop's kind of a destination.
Come to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, JD, maybe you'll get some more business with all the evacuees.
Evacuees?
Is that what you call them?
I
From
guess.
Florida. Yeah, they got to go
Evacuees.
escape Dorian.
Okay.
Or as we call them, pussies.
Shut up. You live inland.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, guys. Well, that was a good topic. I want to remind everybody about the other shows we have going on. I'm gonna play a quick video on that. Wrong one. I'm not that good at this.
He's new here.
You know what? You know who's better at this than I am?
The,
This guy.
the guy we voted off the island.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to check us out on realmofcollectors.com. We're on Facebook as a group, Realm of Collectors. We're on Instagram at Realm of Collectors. Crashbox Customs on social media for all your Mezco and diorama needs. Mention the word Realm when placing an order. You'll get a surprise gift with your purchase. And don't forget the rest of the shows on the Cool Table Network. Enter the Realm, Breaking the Mold, Shattercast Uncut, Nerd Rage Radio, Plastic Fanatics, Toy Detox, Stasis Lock, Building Up to a Fresh Communication, and Verbally Challenged. You can find the Cool Table page on Facebook along with links to all those other awesome podcasts. Good night.
I'm never,
At the beginning usually gets me hyped up.
man.
It's
Nick,
like,
I'm never moving to Florida.
Yeah,
That's craziness.
yeah. There's no. We ain't moving. No way. It's too much. Is everybody coming here to help us?
move that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we each take home a toy?
Yeah, but then
I mean, we could
it-
probably work that out.
if you move to Florida, then you got to move out in 5 years when it's underwater.
Well,
You-
that's
you
JD,
have to
what's
buy a
not-
houseboat.
Won't you
Yeah.
come closer to New York?
it's
A
too
lot of people to tattoo in New York.
Yeah, it's a hell of a bustle there though. No, man, I think we're happy where we're at. It's a good spot. It's kind of secluded.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I've been here 10 years. She seems to like it.
I've been there 3 times. I like it.
Yeah.
I've been there 2 times. I don't like
What?
it.
Wrong spot, man. I was in York Haven and I went nuts.
Well, there's a lot of drunk people around here too. So there's that. Anyway,
Word.
what now? What
Now
now?
Dave's frozen.
I think outros.
Yeah, I
Or
think
Dave frozen.
he's frozen. Yeah, I was
Oh.
watching the screen. It was like making its round. Brian was frozen, and then Dom would freeze, and then Dave would freeze, and then it would be back to Brian.
All
Do we
right.
have to let? Do
Brian
we have to
was-
let him in?
Brian was stuck yawning.
Yeah, I know he had a
Yeah.
big old mouth like that.
He was
for a
stuck
while.
yawning for like 5-10 minutes. It was pretty good.
Well, it's funny
Yep.
because it doesn't freeze on my end, and then Dave's gone. All right, so let's get some outros. Dom, where can they find you?
You can find me here Tuesday nights with you guys, and on the Facebook group says Dominic Rosso, the name my mother gave me, I guess.
Okay, way to steal
Right.
someone else's stick.
I know.
JD, where can they find you?
I stole it.
You can find me on as Pigment Surgery on Instagram and Xbox Live. You can find me here every Tuesday. You can find me every other Wednesday on Figga Bangin'. All on this wonderful YouTube channel here with these gentlemen, these wonderful guys, and some others.
Right.
Yes.
And Nick, Mr. Masterpiece Shippies, where can they find you?
What's up, man? You can find me on Facebook at Nick Brammer, Twitter, Brammer_Nick, Instagram, Masterpiece_Shippiece, and every Friday night on this wonderful Realm channel with Masterpiece Shippiece Theater.
All right.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, Nick.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, Gary's on building up to it, so I guess we can listen to him later when they drop that episode. And you can find me, Brian Brink, in the Facebook groups, at Brinkalizer on Instagram. And hey, just a heads up, I think, Dom, how many weeks is it till RetroCon? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah, I'm
That's
not.
2
I'm not
weeks.
attending. I'm sorry.
All right. What?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the island of ice. I'm
Okay.
going to be Iceland, so I'm
Oh.
not going to be there.
I guess that's a good excuse.
I know. I was planning on it, but we extended the vacation. I was going to go that Saturday, but because we were going to fly out Saturday night, but we extended it. We extended the vacation a little bit. So
Okay.
sorry.
And all right, JD, but I'll see you there, right? And Nick,
Yeah.
you're coming up in 2 weeks, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, sweet. All right, RetroCon in 2 weeks. If you're in that Philadelphia, New Jersey,
Sad now.
New York
that
/
Brian
Maryland, Delaware area,
doesn't like me anymore.
come on out and have a good time. And that's it. Thanks everyone for joining, and enjoy. I hope this is the right one.
Say it with me now. Red